What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here, bringing you some more Series 12 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. Today we are continuing to use my YvelDon team that finished second at the Skydrop Series 1. We had a lot of fun with it last time, and I'm really hoping to keep that up today. So looking at my opponent's my opponent's team, it is very similar to ours, right? It is going to be that Groudon Yveltal as well, but it is Groudon, Venusaur, Tapu Fini, Yveltal, Thundurus, and Incineroar. So the main difference, right, is going to be that Thundurus and that Tapu Fini versus our Bronzong and our Regieleki. And honestly, I think Bronzong is a very good pick here, but I do want to keep it in the back. So what I think for a lead is I do like Regieleki. The thing is, right, like Regieleki, Yveltal is very scary because of the risk of Venusaur. So I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to cover for it. I'm going to do Regieleki Venusaur with Yveltal. I'm going to bring Groudon here and then Bronzong in the back. I think it's an interesting 4 to bring, but I think it is going to pay off. Bronzong going to struggle a little bit with that Yveltal, but my thought process, right, is we have Regieleki, we do have Groudon. So we do have ways of dealing with it, and I do think that this is a potential game where we do really want to max that Groudon. So trying to make the things kind of work for us, as we are going to see Thundurus and Incineroar. So this is really ideal for us, right? Because of the fact that I do expect my opponent to go for something just like a Fake Out turn 1, and we can immediately go for a max Lightning KO onto this Thundurus. I think that sort of is going to be our safest option. So I really just want to go straight for a Rising Voltage here, as well as a Helping Hand onto this Regieleki. We do have to be a little bit wary of what's it called, if it is a support Thundurus, but if that's the case, I feel like you're obviously going to really want to go for the Eerie Impulse into Venusaur, and if we can get the knockout out, right, and get rid of my opponent's max without them doing anything, we're in a phenomenal position, especially because of the fact that, right, like, we will be able to threaten big damage onto everything that isn't Groudon, and then make it so we can kind of KO around it. So this is kind of scary, right? We are seeing no max, as we are going to see a Fake Out come out onto this Venusaur. The question now is, it is unfortunately going to be support Thundurus, which was something that I was really worried about, but we are going to be able to fire off this big max lightning, still doing enough damage to get the one shot. Unfortunately not the one shot, as it is going to be Focus Sash. So right, we are kind of in a little bit of an awkward spot. There's no way to get a double knockout here. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go for a max here, as well as I'm going to go for just some damage onto this Incineroar, right? We're going to see the taunt, which is totally fine with me, as we can just sort of get some nice little chipping onto this Incineroar. That is probably going to go for a parting shot, if not a Flare Blitz, and then we can at least get rid of this Thundurus, right? So we don't have to worry about that support anymore. At this point, right, we have knocked out one of my opponent's threats, and we are getting really good damage onto this Incineroar, as we are going to see a parting shot, right? So really sort of trying to dampen how much damage is coming out from my team, which I think makes the most amount of sense. But even still, right, like, we are going to be able to do quite a big chunk, to the point where we can really force out damage. So we are going to see Yveltal come out here. Yveltal is totally fine with me. I have Groudon in the back, so I think that that's really fine. We could see potentially a literal bait and switch, as you could bring out. Okay, so we are going to see the Incineroar. I do really want to get some damage onto this Yveltal, just because that is sort of the thing that scares me the most, and I think at this point I can pretty safely bring out what's it called? I want to bring out my Groudon. I'm going to go for this. I do expect a Groudon to come in, but I think that that's fine. I think what I can do here is I'm going to bring out my Bronzong with the idea that, right, if you switch into Groudon, what we can do is we can pivot out Aleki into Venusaur and really start setting up with Bronzong for the end game. Trying to get some of those attacks off. We can go for a Volt Switch even into the, what's it called? A Volt Switch into the Groudon. We are going to see, looks like no switch, unless it's a very slow Yveltal, as this Max Lightning still should do a very sizable chunk, right? We're going to do not quite as much as I would have liked, but still, like I said, a good amount. As Snarl going to come out here doing a little bit more than I would have liked into this Bronzong. So really sort of making things difficult, as we might see a Flare Blitz come out, which would be really unfortunate, as we are going to see just a Parting Shot. So Parting Shot is totally fine with me, right? Like, it is saying, hey, you're really not going to be doing much. I do want to preserve my Regieleki though, just because of the fact that what's it called? Regieleki, I think, is going to be very pivotal in this endgame, as yeah, we are going to see a Groudon come out, which is what I really suspected. We still have to be very careful though, because of the fact that this Groudon, sorry, could very well have a fire type move. We don't know its full moveset, so what I want to do at this point is probably, I think, so what I expect that we can go for a Volt Switch onto this Yveltal, and I think we should be safe to set up an Iron Defense, right? We do have to worry about a fire type attack coming out from this Groudon, but if that's the case, we do have the ability to bring out our own. We also do still have Venusaur in the back, which does have the ability to go for those grass type moves, trying to get some big damage up. My hope though is that given how much we did to this Yveltal with the Max Lightning, we can do Volt Switch, hopefully in range of a knockout. Not quite there, unfortunately. So we are going to have to make the switch. I'm going to bring up my Groudon here, just with the idea that I could see another Snarl coming out. Also, I do want to try and preserve the Venusaur if we need it, right? So that's important. So it is going to be the Snarl. It is going to unfortunately miss on Groudon, not the ideal target. I would have preferred the miss on Bronzong. But let's see what happens here. We're going to see Bulk Up. So Bulk Up is definitely going to be really scary. We do have the advantage that we will be able to outpace the Groudon's boost, right? Like, we are getting to +2, where it's only getting to +1. And at this point, right, we can threaten a Rock Tomb onto this Yveltal, just trying to get a knockout there. So I really want to go for a Rock Tomb here, as well as a Protect, just trying to recover a little bit of HP and say, hey, we're going to sort of match your boost. I will have to, unfortunately, take some damage on my Groudon, but I think that that's fine. Like I said, we still do have access to Venusaur in the back, and I think that really is going to be the game changer for us. So being able to get rid of this Yveltal, I think, is huge. We can pivot out into what's it called? Regieleki to reset the drop, as I do expect another Bulk Up. Yeah, we are going to see that. So this this Groudon is getting a little bit scary. Luckily, we do also have Sword Stance, so that is something. But usually if we see, what's it called? If I see a Bulk Up set, that suggests to me, right, you have Rockfall and Quake. So if it's Rockfall and Quake, I do feel really good about our chances. Really, your only sort of damage dealer is going to be that Incineroar. So being able to pivot out and try and set up another Iron Defense, I think, is going to be really huge. We do have to worry though about what's it called? Just taking a Flare Blitz right off the bat. But I'm hoping at +2 we can take it, because honestly, it might come down to that. Now that the Electric Train is gone, though, we do have the advantage that we can go for a Sleep Powder if we need to, as we are going to see. It looks like probably, I'm going to guess, Max Groudon. It could be Max Incin, just trying to get rid of Bronzong, as no, it is going to be that Groudon. I think that just makes the most amount of sense here, right? We can try and survive some of these attacks that are going to be incoming, but if you're going for a Fake Out, it means you're not going for a Flare Blitz, as yeah, we are going to see the Quake. It is going to come out into Regieleki. I don't think Aleki really is doing anything at this point, so the big sort of question for my mind right now is, how much is this Bronzong going to take from this Incineroar's Flare Blitz, and is it going to be enough to knock it out? Because if we survive, I think we're in a very, very good spot. As yeah, we are going to see Flare Blitz. I think it really will shape the rest of this game, as unfortunately we are going to lose our Bronzong here. The crit obviously playing a pretty big role, and so the question now is, are you going to, unfortunately not going to get knocked out. We can bring out our Groudon and Venusaur, so not really the ideal play of what I would like, but I think we do have to go for a Sleep Powder onto this Groudon, as well as go for a Precipice Blades, just trying to even the playing field essentially to make up for that critical hit. So going for the Precipice Blades here, as well as a Sleep Powder onto this Groudon. I think even at this range, if Incin is Shuka Berry, we should be able to pick up the knockout. So kind of thankful for that. Sleep Powder luckily is going to connect, which is huge for us right at this point. Groudon is going to be asleep for at least one of its turns of max. We are going to see the Shuka reveal on Incin. I think this is a very big question of will it live. It's not, so that's going to be really huge here, right? Incin's going to go down. Groudon is going to take a mandatory turn of sleep, so that's also really big. I think we do have to set up a Sword Stance. I think just all things considered, I really need the extra damage, so I'm going to go for a Sword Stance here, as well as a Leaf Storm into this Groudon, just trying to get a little bit of chip going for me, as we can hit the Sleep Powder, but we're not going to hit the, what's it called, hit the Leaf Storm. So gonna get that Sword Stance up. We are gonna have them fall asleep for one more turn. So what I actually want to do at this point, I'm gonna play really greedy here actually. I'm gonna do this just with the idea that we're trying to get as much damage as possible out, right? That's gonna significantly chunk the Groudon. We can then go for a Helping Hand with Precipice Blades, and I think that should hopefully be enough to pick up the knockout. I'm hoping that at +2 the spread is going to be enough to keep us safe, as there is a chance that they do wake up this turn, which could be really scary, as they are going to wake up. We are going to see the Precipice Blades come out. The question is, can we survive? I hope so. Groudon is going to be able to survive there. So Venusaur are going to go down. You are going to trigger our Citrus, and so now it really comes down to a question of hitting Precipice Blades, right? Like if I hit it, I feel like at +4 single target, we should do enough. So I'm going to go for the Precipice Blades. It is going to be a sort of hit or miss, if you will, as we do connect. The question is now at +4. Nice. So we are luckily able to clutch that one out. I think it was very close. I don't know if +4 was needed. It definitely felt a little bit greedy, but I'm actually kind of glad we did miss that Leaf Storm though, because it meant that we were able to hit the Groudon outside of max. Otherwise, I could have just gone for a Helping Hand. I think it still would have been the same result. So let's just quickly take a look here, right? So we are going to see it was Citrus Berry, slower than ours. I think the extra speed really pays off, and a good amount of bulk across the board. So it's definitely something to worry about. And yeah, there was no way for it really to do damage into Bronzong. It just was a little bit unfortunate that we did get crit by them in Incineroar. So next up is Venusaur. So also pretty standard there. Not max speed, which I think is interesting, right? Going just a little bit slower, which can make some of those mirrors a little bit tricky. Next up, we do have Tapu Fini. Not making an appearance. I think that's totally fine. It does actually offer a lot of support, though, I think, with that Mist, as well as that Heal Pulse. So really sort of helping that longevity. But when you expect Venusaur, right, like it's hard to deal with. Assault Vest, Yveltal, I think, yeah, a lot of bulk there. And we really sort of were able to play around it. And you like Regieleki, I think it's just absurd with how much damage it does. Thundurus, as we did see, it was that very supportive set with that Focus Sash, which really played a big role. Otherwise, we would have been able to get the knockout turn 1 and then just fire off some big Helping Hands. But I think that was some really cool, surprising tech. And then finally, Incin, not really much to say here, just a really sort of standard Incin. So overall, I think a really great first game, and let's just keep rocking and rolling and move to the next one. All right, battle number 2, and it is Reshiram Calyrex Ice, but not the typical composition you see. It is Reshiram Calyrex Ice, Porygon 2, Shedinja, Incineroar, and Komodo. So I don't really know how to deal with that Komodo. So trying to figure out, I guess, the best option here. I think Yveltal Bronzong is actually not a bad lead, just with the idea that if you're bringing out Reshiram, right, like we can deal with it that way. and sort of fire off some snarls. If it is going to be like something else, we can, I think, play around with it very well. I think we need Groudon here, and then probably Incineroar. I think so. This does give us a couple ways to hit that Shedinja, right? We do have access to Incineroar as well as Yveltal and Groudon potentially as our max option. So we're hopefully going to get to show off Bronzong. Definitely make sure to subscribe for Bronzong. We are working our way towards 1 billion subscribers, and we really can't get there without you. I think we're going to be the first to do it. Like I said, though, we just do need some help, and yeah, so definitely make sure to subscribe. I know that I think 70% of my viewers are not subscribed, so if you made it this far, definitely make sure to click that subscribe button. It goes a very long way. So we are going to see a Porygon 2 next to a Reshiram. So everything about this screams Reshiram is going to fire off a large attack into my Bronzong. So I definitely would like to click Snarl. The issue, though, is your Reshiram very much could go for a Quake because of abilities. So I'm going to go for, what's it called? A Snarl as well as a Protect on Bronzong, just to sort of scout out some moves. We could see if, I think Flare makes a little bit more sense, but you do, like I said, have to worry about that Incineroar. So I might, unfortunately, as much as I don't want to, I think I might have to potentially sack off either Bronzong or Incineroar. I think they sort of fill the same role. I think Bronzong maybe a little bit, I don't know, a little bit less, because like Calyrex Ice obviously does have the ability to snowball very quickly. So we'll sort of see how things sort of play out, especially with the fact that they are, it looks like, going to preserve their Reshiram Max just for the late game. So that definitely is going to be a little bit scary, as yeah, we are going to see the Blue Flare come out into the Bronzong. So the next sort of question I have is what comes next. So it is going to be an Eerie Impulse onto my Yveltal, which I honestly think is fine. So I definitely would like to just go for another Snarl again. I think switching into Incin is fine here, just with the idea that we can sort of get some parting shots off if we need to. I think if we can get the Reshiram down to like -4, I would feel a lot more comfortable about potentially setting up with Bronzong in front of it, just really sort of saying, hey, we're not going to let you do what you want to do. So Snarl going to fire off. We are going to miss Reshiram, unfortunately. So that is a really sort of big miss coming out. I think the Porygon is recognizing that things are not really sort of going the way they want it to. Incin, that's -1 Reshiram. We are going to see the Life Orb reveal, so definitely sort of seeing that come out, as we are going to see the Foul Play come out. So my opponent really not trying to max yet. So I want to go for a Fake Out onto this Reshiram, just sort of trying to chip it as much as we can. We did see the Life Orb, right? And if we can get rid of it, I think we're in a really sort of solid position for the end game. So we are going to, I think they do make a very good read here, right? Going for that Protect, as another Snarl going to come out, not going to do anything into this Porygon 2. And it looks like, I was gonna say, it looks like we missed the P2, but I always forget how the animations go. So this Porygon 2, right, like its special attack is lowered, but like it doesn't really care. Recover, I think, is absolutely going to be fine here, right? Like I'm really trying to kill this Reshiram more than anything. So I'm gonna go for a Snarl here, and I want to go for a parting shot. I think if we can bring out Groudon, right, we can go for a Quake and sort of set us up for a strong game that way, and really sort of take advantage of the situation. But my plan really is to weaken this Reshiram as much as possible to make it kind of useless. Bringing out Groudon, though, is a little bit scary, right? We are going to be boosting that Blue Flare, but I think it sort of is worth the risk here. Right, like I don't care about Yveltal. We are going to see a switch out, so we are going to see Calyrex come out. So this really suggests to me that you are going to go for the Trick Room this turn. We could see a weakness policy, which would be a little bit scary, but we will be able to get it right back into neutral, as Snarl is going to fire off here, doing a very big chunk as a result of a critical hit onto this Calyrex. I don't think that was what my opponent was expecting in the slightest, as we are going to indeed see that weakness policy being fired off. We are going to probably see what's it called? A Trick Room come out from this Porygon. And so what we can do now is we definitely have the switch into Bronzong, right? Just to say, hey, yeah, hey, we're gonna kind of do the thing. I think I want to say, okay, so we haven't been intimidated, which suggests to me, right, like we can go for a Sucker Punch onto this Calyrex pretty freely. So I really want to go for a Sucker Punch and reverse the Trick Room. I think it is... I'm going to go for a Sucker Punch onto Calyrex, and I'm going to swap Bronzong into Incin. I think the play of swapping in the Yveltal for Incin is really obvious, so I'm hoping for potentially a Quake into that slot. But if we can bring Calyrex back to neutral, I think seeing how much the Snarl did suggests to me that a Foul Play hopefully will be enough. I mean, not a Foul Play, a Sucker Punch will be enough for the knockout. As we are going to see the switch out, we are going to see Incin as the reveal from my opponent as our last one, which does make things just a little bit tricky due to the fact that our Sucker Punch is going to be weakened, as we're going to see just the Sucker Punch does come out with no max, and yeah, it really is not doing what I need it to do. High horsepower though, we are going to see it hit into the Yveltal. I very much am going to now swap into Bronzong here, and then the question now is, I'm gonna go for a fake up onto their Incineroar, because now what we can do is we can set up Bronzong. I think we do really need to preserve our what's it called, our Yveltal for that Reshiram in the back, as we are sort of really weakening our opponent, but we do want to set up for Bronzong in the end game, right? We are going to see a Protect come out, so that's huge, right? We can really go for a Body Press, as yeah, Fake Out, going to come out onto this Incineroar, doing just a solid bit, and I think I really do try and set up an Iron Defense while I have the chance, and then just go for a Parting Shot into this Calyrex, right? It is a little bit risky, right? I could make the switch into Yveltal, but Yveltal I think really is too valuable to lose, and so if it means losing the Incin, I'm okay with that, because it just, like I said, gives us so much more potential, as we are going to just see, like I said, a Glacial Lance, I think, calling the Yveltal switch, but I really can't afford to make that risk, as Incin going to take nothing at all just due to the damage. We are going to be able to fire off a Parting Shot, which I think is going to be really huge, which lets us, I'm going to bring out Yveltal here, because I can't see the Incin doing that much damage, and I also really can't afford to have a scenario where, what's it called? Have a scenario where Flare Blitz is going to pick up and do extra damage. So we are going to see the Throat Chop come out onto this Bronzong, doing a little bit more than I would have liked, in all honesty. But I mean, that is going to be mainly a result of the boost coming out from that Dark Aura. So we do have, how many turns of Trick Room? There's one turn of Trick Room left. I very much would like to Body Press into the Calyrex slot, as well as switch back into Incin, just with the idea of the fact that we are going to, what's it called? We're going to weaken the Incineroar by both intimidating it and also by getting rid of that Dark Aura. We are going to see the swap out here. This probably is going to be into Porygon 2. So Porygon 2 is fine here, right? Like it's not going to appreciate a Body Press. So that is always good. So this is really sort of a positioning sort of game, as now our Incin is going to come back. We are going to have additional Fake Out pressure again, which I think is huge, and we do potentially want to just get our Bronzong under Trick Room again, trying to beat that Reshiram, as Body Press going to come out here. I actually, when I think about it, I don't actually want to set up a second Trick Room. I really want to create a scenario where, what's it called? We can, what's it called? Yeah, I want to create a scenario where we're not under Trick Room, because that means we can really take advantage of what Bronzong has to offer. As we are going to see the obvious Reshiram, I think that definitely makes the most sense from my opponent, as we can, I think, go for a little bit of an obvious play, but I don't necessarily think that an obvious play is a bad play, where I want to go for a Protect here, as well as a Parting Shot out, right? We do have to worry potentially about a Trick Room as well as a KO into Instant, as we are going to see the max here. But that I think is fine because of the fact that we do have access to the Groudon in the back as well as the Yveltal. So in the event that we see the knockout into Instant, right? That's a free switch into Yveltal where we can really start going for Snarls to reduce this Reshiram's damage output. If they try and target into Bronzong, though, like I said, we are going to get a parting shot off, which I think will really sort of help us figure things out. As we are just going to see a Wormwind, I think that really is going to be a safe middle ground, right? You are sort of guaranteeing that KO, but if you do bring out the Trick Room, we do have the ability to just go for a Quake as well as go for a Body Press onto the P2. As we are going to see Recover, I think that really is sort of a smart option, but what it does mean for us is we do have the ability just to fire off, or yeah, we can bring out Yveltal here, and I think really just going for that Snarl is going to play a very huge role. So a little bit of a good call by my opponent, but I don't necessarily think this is over. I don't want to max my Yveltal because I do think it does have a lot more potential as a non-max option. So I don't want to switch in Groudon because I want to max Groudon. So I'm going to go for a double protect here. I don't know if I'll necessarily get it, but I do think it's our best option. Just with the idea, like I said, we do really want to preserve what Yveltal has to offer. And I think if we actually get Bronzong knocked out, right, that gives us a free switch in into Groudon. We do maintain the priority with Calyrex, and then it's just making sure that there's never a scenario where Incineroar is next to Calyrex because of the fake out onto Yveltal. But I think for right now we're good. We do get the double protect, which I actually wasn't planning on, but it does change things a little bit. We are going to get a Snarl onto this Reshiram. So really sort of getting good positioning as, yeah, the Quake going to come out here, taking advantage of that Turbo Blaze ability and sort of saying, hey, here's a safe middle ground. I think that that's totally fine. We could see a Trick Room come out here. I don't think you want to go for that. I think you're going to Eerie Impulse the Yveltal, right? You can't really afford, you can't afford to set up a Trick Room in front of this Bronzong because it's just going to sweep through your whole team. So what I really want to do at this point is I'm going to go for I don't like this idea, but I think, you know what? I'm going to go for a triple protect. I don't really have anything better to do with Bronzong right now. Like I said, I just am sort of, we are going to unfortunately quote unquote fail it as the final Snarl is going to come out. We should see probably what I'm guessing is a Trick Room come out, but that's not necessarily the end of the world, as it is going to be a flare onto this Bronzong, really sort of driving home the point of we don't want you here. So this now means that this does make things a little bit tricky. It makes it tricky because of the fact that this Porygon 2 has Foul Play. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to create a scenario where we can guarantee that Yveltal gets off a Sucker Punch, which I see no reason to max right now. I think the correct play instead is to go for a Precipice Blades, as well as let's go for an Oblivion Wing onto the Porygon 2. I think that that's fine. We're going to see the Reshiram Protect, so I think that that's good. We're probably going to see an Eerie Impulse or a Foul Play come out. We are going to see, the Foul Play come out into the Dawn, doing a fair bit of damage. So we can take a couple more, but, that's bad. That is very bad. I forgot we gave it Levitate. I'm gonna Quake the Reshiram. Actually, I need to get rid of this Porygon. I need to Quake here. Actually, I'm going to Protect here. I'm going to try and stall out the Trick Room. And I'm going to go for a Snarl here. My thought process is I need... Okay, we are going to see the swap out here. Is this going to be into Calyrex? We are going to see Incineroar. So Incineroar, I think, not the ideal target. But I think it's also fine just given the fact that we do have access to Swords Dance. But, also more importantly, what that does mean is that this Porygon is going to lose its Levitate, which can play a really big deal, as we are going to see the Blue Flare come out onto this Groudon, right? Just doing its best, for lack of better words. Reshiram, right, going to take a little bit of damage here. And so now the big question is, what do we want to max? So I'm going to... I think I'm going to Swords Dance, expecting to see the Incin go for a Parting Shot, and I'm just going to keep snarling away. I don't really have a reason to do anything else. We really are sort of destroying what this Reshiram can do. Also, the Swords Dance going to sort of help us get some damage back. It is a little bit tricky, as we are going to see the Incin being able to fire off some cycling, as we are going to see the Parting Shot come out, into Groudon, kind of as expected. So hopefully we can sort of get off that, what's it called? The Swords Dance we need. It does make things, though, a little bit tricky with that Porygon 2, as we are going to see that come out, just because of the fact that Porygon 2 does have the ability to recover. Also, it can just use the foul play, so the Swords Dance really sort of not going to end up doing too much, as we are really, I think, going to have to play a War of Attrition, really, of what's it called? War of Attrition of Oblivion Wing versus Recover. So I think actually the game plan at this point is to what's it called? Fire off Precipice Blades, and then I think what we have to do, in all honesty, is fire off Max Darkness, with the idea of lowering the Porygon 2's special defense so much that we can just brute force it, as we are going to be able to get the max off. So that's definitely a good sign. We are going to see no switches, so probably going to have to take a foul play. I'm hoping that the foul play doesn't do enough with the Blue Flare as a result of all the drops. We still do have our Citrus Berry intact, so that should hopefully help us. Okay, we are going to see Recover, so that's really helpful. Perfect. Precipice Blade's going to come out, going to miss the Porygon, which I'm okay with, right? I want to get rid of this Reshiram really badly, as we are going to be able to pick up a knockout. So that's really perfect, right? Like, I think the only way, unfortunately, we're going to beat... Oh, that's also a big factor there. That timer is going to come out. So, yeah, I think we are going to see that 3-minute mark. We are really starting needing to apply some pressure. I think, though, we can, I think we can win this. I think my opponent at this point, yeah, is really going to try and stall out as much as they can. But I'm hoping that if we double target into this Incin, so I think we just have to kind of smash Precipice Blades as well as Max Darkness into this Incin, and then try and make it so we can get the knockout there. Max Darkness going to come out, so that's a really good sign, right? Like, we are just going to get not a good amount of chip, but definitely an amount of chip for sure. I do expect potentially to see a Trick Room into Calyrex. Precipice Blades is going to miss. We are going to see the Shuka reveal. We are getting really, really close. This is very reminiscent of my finals match, where it came down to timer. We should see a Parting Shot come out. Yep, onto the Yveltal. And so now what's going to do is it's going to be Calyrex. I think, though, we should be able to KO Calyrex through a Protect. I do want to obviously protect my Groudon here, right? This Calyrex is in the red. This is Yveltal. So I think yeah, we want to protect our Groudon. We are going to see the Trick Room. I think that's fine, right? These animations really we're sweating a little bit. So Protect here, as well as a Max Darkness going to come out onto this Calyrex. Really trying to do as much as we can we are going to see the instant switch out. I think that that's a really good play at this point, right? You're resetting those special attack drops and making it so you sort of have a good chance. We are going to protect this turn, so the question in my mind really is, are we going to pick up the knockout on Calyrex? Glacial Lance. Okay, so both of our Pokemon are in the green, right? So I think at this point we should win, right? Just waiting sort of for this turn to end. We can, yeah, I think we really, it is gonna, this is very reminiscent of the end screen from my battle, but this is close, because Porygon, okay, Porygon, I think it comes down to total HP. I don't know who's gonna win. I'm just gonna click Precipice Blades for fun. We should win, as well as an Oblivion Wing onto the Porygon. I hope that we win. So okay, so we do manage to win that one. I think that really sort of was scary for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the timer was a tricky one there. We also do get some fun some more ribbons for my ribbon quested Groudon. But you know what? We're gonna play one more. So let's just keep rocking and rolling and play one more game. All right, last battle of the day. I'm really glad we decided to play one more, because it is going to be SableyeVGC. I am definitely a big fan, so this is a really cool send-off in my opinion. So it is going to be that standard Calyrex Zacian team. So it is Calyrex, Zacian, Thundurus with Incineroar, Rillaboom, and Gastrodon. So I think my best option is Yveltal, Regieleki with Groudon, Venusaur in the back. I think that's sort of our best play. This is very, very tricky for a lot of reasons. Sort of the biggest one being, what are you protecting? That really can make a difference, right? Like if you lead Thundurus Calyrex, there really is no sort of ideal play, because of the fact that everything sort of has a disadvantage, right? Like if I try and double up into the Calyrex and you protect the Calyrex in the Airstream, I basically lose my Regieleki the subsequent turn. Or if I double up into the what's it called, the Thundurus, and you just go straight for a KO into my Venusaur, we are in a bad spot. As we're going to see Zacian Thundurus. So this is very much a lead that I'm okay with, because of the fact that we can get the Electro Web off. I think even if you, even if you are able to protect with your Thundurus, I'm fine to just go for the foul play here, as well as the Electro Web. I think it is obvious, but I think that that's not always a bad thing. We are going to see the swap out, so this probably, it is going to be Gastrodon. So Gastrodon is a totally fine option. We are going to luckily hit our Electro Web onto the Zacian, so doing just a solid, I think, chunk here, as trying to hopefully make it so Yveltal is going to take the hit really well. Foul play going to come out doing some decent chip. You know, I'm not going to complain, as Play Rough will connect, unfortunately, onto our bird friend here. So not the greatest start in the world. We know that there's a Thundurus in the back. So what we have, okay, so we do have Fake Out on what's it? I mean, not Fake Out. We do have Focus Sash. That's the word that I'm looking for on our Venusaur. So what I actually want to do is I'm going to go for a Vine Lash onto this Gastrodon, as well as fire off a big Volt Switch onto the Zacian, just trying to get some extra damage going and make it so we can sort of go for the end game. There still is going to be that Thundurus in the back, which we have to be very aware of, as well as that Calyrex Shadow. So this game is definitely not over, but I think that Regieleki can serve as a really big option for dealing with that end game. So it is going to kind of come down to some positioning, as we are going to see no switches. I do expect potentially a Protect, maybe a Protect on both, but I think what you're saying now is, hey, I'm going to trade, which isn't necessarily a bad trade for you. as Venusaur is going to get really big here, I do want to sort of get that residual, especially if we can fire off next turn with a Max Flare onto the Zacian, as we are going to get just a straight Volt Switch. So really good damage coming out onto that Zacian. That is going to let us bring out our Groudon to set up the Sun. Not that it really matters for now, but it is sort of going to be really important as we can set up the Sun, get the residual damage, and that really makes it so the Zacian is not going to be in the best spot. We will be able to definitely KO this Groudon. I mean not Groudon, Gastrodon. So I think Sableye really saying, hey, we're gonna make a trade of me taking a bunch of damage in response. Like, this is going to be the setup. What's it called? So now Zacian probably going to Blade into the Venusaur slot. As we're going to see the Blade come out, I am really hoping it goes into that Venusaur. I really don't want to have Groudon take that much damage, as it is going to be into the Groudon. So a little bit unfortunate there. You are going to proc my Citrus though, so that really is going to be helpful. So now what I think I want to do actually is I think I want to flare into the Zacian. I want to flare into the Zacian and Rock Tomb the Thundurus. My main thought process with that is I want to really keep everything under control with this Thundurus. I want it to maintain the same speed it's at, just with the idea also this way we can force out the Calyrex to take residual damage, which I think is going to be really sort of huge in the end game. It does make it a little bit tricky though of if you are able to fire or to get off enough boosts, because what then will happen is the Calyrex will outspeed Lecky. So a little bit tricky here. I do definitely though expect to see what's it called? Yeah, that max come out from Thundurus. No real sort of shocker there. I think Flare Rock Tomb will really help us. It just is going to be a little bit scary though with what's it called? It's going to be scary with that Defiant boost, but I don't necessarily think it's the end of the world. Flare going to come out though onto the Zacian. We should see, I'm guessing, an Airstream come out onto the Venusaur, which makes I think the most amount of sense. Yeah, we are going to see the Airstream. It is going to be into the Venusaur, which is fine, right? We're going to come down to our Focus Sash. And more importantly, we are going to be able to get this Rock Tomb off onto this Thundurus, really sort of trying to get as much damage as possible. It is going to be Life Orb, so that is a big reveal here, as Rock Tomb doing a very sizable chunk onto this Thundurus, right? Like, even with the Defiant boot, or what's it called? Even with the max, it still is going to put that Thundurus right above 50%. So that does make things a little bit awkward though, right? Like, where do we go from here? As this Calyrex is going to come out. So I do have to worry about... Okay, so what I want to do actually is I want to Vine Lash the Calyrex and go for a Protect on Groudon. I need to make it... yeah, so we are going to see the Protect here. I think that's fine. I just need to get enough residual damage that Regieleki can win, because I feel confident in Regieleki being able to beat Calyrex in the one. That did not do any damage. We are going to see an Airstream come out onto the Groudon. Okay, onto the Groudon. Calyrex is now in the 300s. I think it's still faster than my Venusaur, unfortunately. That much I actually don't know. If it's slower than my Venusaur. Okay, so +1 Calyrex is 333. There's no way that Venusaur is faster. Yeah, so unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to take this. I do want to go for the press. I mean, we can just click it. We're not going to get it. Yeah, the Astral Barrage is unfortunately going to come out. So this should... I mean, but it doesn't matter. You have a max move. Yeah, if we had seen... Yeah, there's no reason for anything else. We're going to see another Airstream come out onto this Groudon. So just sort of going for a bunch of damage there. And then at this point, we really are not going to be able to beat this Calyrex. So I think a little bit of an unfortunate situation there. I think we could have definitely played it a little bit differently in terms of how we wanted to distribute some damage. And at this point, right, like Regieleki is going to be outsped. I don't have any sort of secret tech to win this. I think if I was choice scarfed, that would be really cool, because it means that yeah, we would have won with an Electro Web. But I'm gonna Quick Protect. Maybe I mean, no, because we saw it outspeed the Venusaur. We're hoping we're sort of just hoping that the Vine Lash damage does enough. I think there's definitely ways that I could have played this better. I know that this is a team comp that does give me a lot of trouble, so it is not shocking that I lost this one. I definitely will let Sableye know that this video is going to be up, but that is going to do it with this team today. It's definitely been a really fun run. We will use it tomorrow. I also am planning on doing post commentary with Jacob, who did win the tournament, talking about our finals match. So look forward to that. And yeah, with that, until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.